Hey guys, Heather here with BTS Nutrition, and today I want to talk to you about the most controversial of the macros, carbohydrates. From broccoli to jelly beans and everything in between. Carbs are usually demonized in the media, and so I kind of wanted to drop some truth bombs on you to help you shift through all that fiction that's out there about carbohydrates and give you some actual information that will help you understand why carbs are necessary in your diet. Okay, so let's start. Carbs are not bad. I mean, they're just not. What the deal is, though, is people will go on low-carb diets and they will lose weight pretty quickly. And they'll think, well, this is great. Obviously, carbs are not good. They make me gain weight. But in actuality, if you could look at their body composition, the weight that they're losing is actually water. And then eventually over time, if you cut out carbs long enough, you start to lose lean mass. And I'll explain why that happens in just a little bit. But in terms of lowering your body fat percent and your overall health, losing lean mass is never a good thing, and it always drives our body fat up. So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So before we get into how we can prevent that, let's digest what a carb is. So there are two main types of carbs, to not get too technical or sciencey. There's what most of you would consider the bad carbs, even though I don't like to label food as good or bad. And those are the higher glycemic carbs, the simple carbs. They're fast digesting. Some examples would be your fruits, most of your fruits, fruit juices, jams, jellies, candy, soda, white bread, potatoes, sugar. And these digest very quickly. They can cause spikes in your blood sugar. And they are less nutrient dense, which means they have less micronutrients, which are vitamins and minerals in them. Then you have your complex or your lower glycemic carbs that people will label the good carbs. And these are slower digesting. They're things like brown rice, sweet potatoes, oats, quinoa, starches, seeds, beans, anything like that. And these are your more nutrient dense carbs. They have a lot of vitamins and minerals in them. And we encourage you to make these 80% of your diet versus the simple carbs, which we try to stay around 20%. But there is a time and a place for those simple carbs, which we'll get to in just a minute. So the reason why all carbs aren't necessarily good or bad is because from broccoli to jelly beans, when you ingest broccoli or jelly beans, your body is going to metabolize it and break it down to glucose. That's the most basic form that is a carb. And glucose is your body's preferred source of energy. So it is what your brain uses to do what it does. And so it's really important. And when we cut out carbs, then we start to cause our bodies to search for glucose somewhere else. And we have it stored in our body. And the stored version of glucose is called glycogen. And glycogen is stored in our liver, in our muscles. And so when we deprive our body of carbs, then our body starts to break down our muscle to get the stored glucose or the glycogen in our muscles. And as a result, we start to lose lean mass. And this is not just for athletes or people who are constantly working out. This is for the everyday person as well, whether you work out or not. If you are not getting enough carbs, eventually your body will break down lean mass to get at that glycogen, the stored version of glucose, to help your body run efficiently. And anytime your lean mass breaks down, that unfortunately will drive your body fat percent up, even if your scale is going down, because muscle weighs more than fat. And so we never want to see that happen. In addition, so you might be thinking, well, if that's the case, Heather, and whatever I eat carb-wise just turns into glucose, can I just eat jelly beans all day? And well, I wish I could tell you, yes, eat jelly beans all day instead of broccoli. The answer is no, but it's not because jelly beans are terrible and they're going to make you fat. It's because jelly beans have no nutrient density, whereas the higher or the complex carbs, the lower glycemic carbs, they do have the vitamins and minerals that your body also needs. So it's a win-win. So an example would be, let's say that you were to have a large soda, 280 calories, mainly carbs, digest quickly, your blood sugar will spike, you'll probably crash later on, compared to a sweet potato. That is also 280 calories, also the majority carbs, but this sweet potato has potassium, magnesium, vitamin A and K, fiber, a bunch of good stuff in it, the micronutrients. So it's a nutrient-dense food, and it will digest more slowly and keep your blood sugar even throughout the day versus the spikes and the crash that you would get from the jelly beans. So if that's the case, why would we ever eat the higher glycemic carbs? Because if you remember, like 2 minutes ago, I said there is a time and a place for them. And that would be during your workouts, before your workouts or after your workouts. And when I say before and after, I mean about an hour to 30 minutes prior. Then during your workout, if your workout's longer than 45 minutes to an hour. So like people who are running, they'll use the goo packs and stuff, which is straight sugar. And then after your workout, within 15 to 30 minutes post-workout. That's where we try to tell our clients to fit that 20% of the higher glycemic, fast digesting carbs. And then we tell them to use the lower glycemic the rest of the day. So you might be thinking, well, you just kind of told me all of this, so, you know, what would I need a macro coach for? And like I mentioned in our macro video, everybody is so different. Our body compositions are so different, and the amount of carbs a person needs really depends on their height, their weight, their age, as well as their activity level. And I don't just mean in the gym or if they're a runner, I mean throughout the day. And so if you're feeling low energy during your day, if your performance is kind of tanking in your runs, your bikes, your weightlifting, whatever it is you do, if you're constantly fatigued, then it really could be because you're not getting adequate carbohydrates in your diet. And the amount of carbs you get, as well as the source of the carbohydrates, can really make a difference in how you feel throughout the day. So reach out to us at I said way too many W's, 3Ws.btsnutrition.com. And our trained staff of certified nutritionists and registered dietitians would love to help you make sure that you're getting enough carbs to fuel your lifestyle. And I will say, for all of you who are thinking, wow, she just loves carbs and there's, you know, she didn't say anything negative about carbs. Like everything, if you eat too many of something, whether it be carbs, fats, or proteins, then you will gain fat. And so that is one of the reasons why working with a nutrition coach can really help, because we can make sure that you're eating the amount that you need to either lose weight, sustain your weight, or gain lean mass, and that you're not eating more than that, which can be stored as fat. So I hope at the end of the day you realize carbs are necessary for your body and brain to function the way God intended it. And I hope that you aren't afraid to eat carbs. And if you have any questions about carbs and what they can do or not do for you, then I hope you reach out to us. Hope you guys have a great day and see you next time.